What's up, you guys? It's Michael back with you for another video today, and today's video is going to be all about how to build your credit score fast. And the reason why this is so important is because sometimes when people first turn 18, they overlook the fact that they need to get a credit card, because this is one of the most financially literate things you can do when you first become of age. You're 18 years old. In the eyes of the government, you're now legally an adult. And one of the first things that you need to do in order to start building your credit score fast is to get your first credit card. So I'm going to talk about some reasons why you need to do this, because it's very important that you do it. One of the main reasons is if you don't do it, then later on in life, when you go to look for credit, like say you want to buy a car or you want to buy a house or anything that requires you to get credit because you don't have the money to pay for it up front, it's going to be extremely difficult, if not most likely impossible, for you to get a loan on anything. So that's why it's really important to start early and to start small with a credit card. Luckily for you, you found this YouTube video today, because when I was 18 years old, there was no such thing as YouTube yet. However, intuitively, I already knew that one thing I really needed to do, or actually even wanted to do back then, was to get a credit card. I don't remember even why I wanted to do it. I just felt like it would be really cool to have a credit card. I didn't have to pay cash for everything. And what ended up happening is I ended up abusing that privilege and getting into debt that took me almost 10 years to get out of. I'm not going to talk about that too much in this video. If you want to take a look at that, you can check it out in this other video here that I made. But yeah, don't do that. That's really a bad idea. If you guys are in for a few laughs, make sure you stick around to the end of this video, because for some reason trying to make a video about credit cards is just very tongue twisting for me, and I had so many epic fails by trying to make this video. So make sure you stick around for that, because I'm going to put a surprise blooper reel in there for you. So you'll get a few laughs out of that. So I built up my credit score by doing this. When I first turned 18, I applied to get my first credit card, and lo and behold, I got it. It was pretty easy to get. Nowadays, it's a little bit tougher to get your first credit card, but one thing that worked in my favor was I had employment, and I was working there for at least a little while, so that way they could see that I made a regular income, so that made it easier for them to approve me. Also, the other thing that helped was, this was before the banking regulations got really strict like they are now because of the whole 2008 crisis that we had. However, you can still get a credit card at 18 nowadays. It's just a little bit more difficult. They want to see proof of income. They want to see that you've been working at a job for a set period of time. So that's something that's really crucial to getting your first credit card. So if you don't already have a job, or if you just started your job, I would recommend waiting at least 3 to 6 months after you have the job to apply for the card. That way the credit card company, they're going to see that you've gained employment, you're making a steady paycheck, and they're going to be a lot more likely to approve your application. Assuming you already have a job now and you already got your first credit card, the next thing you need to do is actually start making some purchases with the credit card. And you probably won't be able to get too carried away, just because whenever you get your first card, they'll probably just give you a limit of maybe $500 or $1,000, or even sometimes less. It could be $200 or $300. It doesn't really matter how much the limit is. The point is, you need to make a few purchases with it, but the key here is only to make purchases with the card that you would have made anyhow. So say you need to have some dry cleaning done for your work, and you were going to do that anyways. You were going to go pay cash. Now you can go put it on your credit card. Or say you need to pay your cell phone bill. Instead of paying in cash or paying directly from your checking account, now you can pay directly with your credit card. So those are examples of things that you were going to pay for anyways without going overboard. I'm not saying get the card and go out and buy the latest iPhone or anything like that. That you don't want to do. You need to keep it manageable, and chances are when you're 18, you're not making a lot of money anyways, so it's really important to only buy things that you know for sure you can pay for when the bill comes. Now that you've gotten your first credit card and you've made a couple of purchases, your first bill has come in the mail. Now the main thing that you really have to do, and make sure this is really important, so pay attention here, you need to pay off the bill in full. Do not wait, do not pay just the minimum, do not carry a balance because you heard that it was good. I mean, that's a big myth that's gone around ever since I was a kid. I used to hear people say, if you carry a balance on your credit card, it's going to help you build your credit. No, all that's going to do is it's going to make the credit card companies money, and it's going to make you more broke. So just don't do it, okay? So after a few months go by and you start doing this regularly, you get in your bill, you're paying it off on time, and you're paying it in full, the credit card company is going to start boosting your credit score because they're going to see that you're a pretty low risk to them, and every month you should see your credit score go up little by little. It might not happen every month, but every few months you should see that score tick up a little bit. And typically credit scores range from anywhere between the high 300s to the mid 800s, so it's a pretty big range. Me personally, my credit score right now is about an 817, so it's almost about as good as you can get. And that's really what you want to strive for. But when you're 18 years old, the chances of you having a credit score in the 800s is probably slim to none. But if you keep up with your payments and you keep paying that bill on time every month, you should be in the mid 6s or even the 7s within a year, no problem. So definitely keep paying that bill off every single month when you get it. Now, besides just paying your bill off on time every month, there's a few things that are going to go into your credit score calculation. The first thing is going to be the age of your credit history. Obviously, if you're 18 or 20 years old and you just got your first credit card, you're not going to have a lot of credit history. So that's really going to hurt you a lot for the first few years. So that's going to be tough. The only thing you can do is just maintain your credit and keep that credit card open for the next few years to keep building up that credit history. The next thing that's going to be important is your credit utilization. Credit utilization is however much of your credit you're using compared to how much credit that you actually have available to you. So say if you have a $10,000 credit limit and you're using $2,000 of that credit, then you are using 20% of your available credit. And typically once you start going above 25 to 30% of your credit utilization, that can actually hurt your credit score a little bit too. So the main thing is you want to make sure you're not using all of the credit that you have available or even half of it, because that can hurt your credit score. Another huge factor that affects your score, of course, is do you pay on time? That's a pretty obvious one, and we already discussed that, and you really need to make sure you pay on time and pay in full. Another factor to your credit that will make a difference over the years is the different types of credit you have. This will be things like an auto loan, the mortgage on your house if you have one, and also will be the different types of credit cards that you have. So the more varieties of credit you have, then the better that will look on your credit report, and that will also help boost your score as well. The last thing that really makes a big difference on your credit score is hard inquiries, and I found this out the hard way myself. What hard inquiries are, it's basically when you're going to go ahead and apply for new credit. So say you want to get a new credit card, you've already had one credit card now for a year, you want to go apply for another one. Well, say you apply for that credit card, and then a month later you apply for another one, and a month later you apply for another one. Those are called hard inquiries, and when you do that, that can significantly lower your credit score, sometimes by 30 points or more. This recently just happened to me. I applied for a new card. My credit score was about 817 back then, like it is now, and it dipped all the way down to about 780. So it went down almost 40 points just by applying for a new card, and it took about 3 or 4 months for the score to recover. But the good news is the score will recover, but it will temporarily go down for a little while. Like I said earlier, in order for you to build your credit score fast, you need to get a credit card as soon as possible. So I recommend trying to do that as soon as you turn 18, but only if you've been working for a set period of time. If you haven't started working yet, you need to start working before you even apply for a card, because otherwise you're guaranteed to be denied, and that's just going to be a negative mark on your credit right from the beginning, so you don't want to do that. Now, if you want to try to get a credit card and you don't have a job, the only thing that I recommend you try to do is Google a secured credit card. And what a secured credit card is when you can go to the bank and say you give them $200 or $300 as a deposit, and then they will extend you a credit card with that amount of credit. And that's it. You'll get that $200 or $300 credit limit for the amount of money that you gave them, and then basically if you don't pay the bill, they have that $200 or $300 sitting with them, and they can just close your account. So that's what a secured credit card is. Eventually you want to move to an unsecured credit card, which is a typical kind of card. Those are all the kind of cards that I have, and that's what you want to end up with. If you really want to know how to increase your credit score fast and build up that credit, you need to do this. Once you have your first credit card and you've had it for, let's say, 6 months, okay, try to get another card. If you've been paying on time and you see your credit score rising a little bit, it wouldn't hurt to at least make one application and try to get another card. And let me show you an example of this. So this is my wallet, And this is how many credit cards I keep in it at any given moment. I mean, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that one's a debit card, to be fair. Okay, 6 credit cards I keep in my wallet. Why do I have that many cards at any given time? The reason is simple. The reason why you want to get more credit cards is because you want to have as much credit available to you as possible. And this will really boost your utilization, because then say if you're using $2,000 of your credit and you used to have $10,000 of available credit, but now you have $30,000, your utilization rate will be much lower, thus boosting your score that much higher. So this is also the key to building your score fast. You really want to have a low utilization rate, but still be able to have enough available credit to you that you can buy things when you need to, and even buy some expensive purchases if necessary, as long as you can pay it off when the bill comes. Let's not forget that. I'm going to drive that one home in this whole video, because I made this mistake when I was young and I don't want you to make it too. So make sure when you buy something on your credit card, you have the money to pay it off. Now that I talked about some things that you should do to build up your credit, I'm going to talk about a few things that you definitely should not do, because it's going to slow you down dramatically and it's going to just take you that much longer to build your credit. Number one mistake is do not pay cash for everything, okay? You know, there was this myth when I was growing up that if you don't have the cash to pay for something, then you shouldn't buy it at all. While that might be true in a sense, I think the real message behind that is that if you cannot pay off the bill when it comes, then you shouldn't buy it. That's what I take it as, and that's what it really means. So that doesn't mean you should go and pay cash for everything because you're scared to use a credit card. It means that you shouldn't buy a $1,000 iPhone unless you have that $1,000 of cash in your pocket to pay off the bill when it comes. That's what it means. Another huge mistake that a lot of beginners make when they get their first credit card is, you're young and you're out, you're living the life, and you get your first bill and you forget to pay it on time. That's a huge mistake, and that one can stick with you for a few years. You really don't want to do that. It's going to be a big ding on your credit right from the beginning, which is going to make it that much harder for you to get more credit cards, especially when you're young. And forget about having the score go up. It's going to go down if you don't pay on time. So make sure you have it a point. Make sure to put it in your calendar, put a reminder on your phone when the bill is due, and make sure you actually pay it a couple days before that bill is due, just in case the bank doesn't send the money in time, whatever happens. Just make sure you have a reminder set to pay that bill, because if you pay late, you're going to be sorry. Another big mistake, which I've already said, but I'm going to say it again: don't buy anything with the card that you can't afford to pay off when the bill comes. Enough said. I've already said that a bunch of times. Another thing that I mentioned briefly earlier in this video, but I will say it again as well: do not carry a balance on your card. It's completely unnecessary. When the bill comes, just pay it off in full and make sure you pay on time. Those are the key things that are really going to help you increase your credit score quickly. The only thing that carrying a balance on your credit card every month is going to do for you is, surely it will take more money out of your pocket and put it in the credit card company's pocket. And that's exactly what they want you to do, so definitely don't do that. You can build your credit and be responsible from the beginning and pay zero interest if you just follow these simple tips. Now let's get to my favorite part about credit cards, and that's making money with credit cards. I used to pay the credit card companies interest because I couldn't pay my bill off on time. I was stupid, I was irresponsible, but guess what? Now the credit card companies pay me, and I get rewarded just for using their card. So not only do I pay zero interest, they actually pay me to use the card, which I think is fantastic. So the card I'm going to talk about today that I use the most, which is my favorite card right now, is my Citi Double Cash card. And that is this card right here. I'll show it to you. So this is it. It looks like this. Citi Double Cash card, okay? That's what it looks like. And you might even want to try to get that card right from the beginning. I don't know if they'll give it to you as a newbie, somebody young, but you can at least try. But if you don't have that card, then I highly recommend that as the second card, try to get that card, because this card will give you 2% cash back on all of the purchases you make, which is pretty much one of the best deals in the industry right now. And I love taking the cash back. There's a lot of people out there talking about credit cards and getting the points and things like that. But to be honest, I'd rather just have the cold hard cash. And I've only had this card for not even 2 years, I think, and I've already earned over $342 in cash back, which is incredible, just for buying things that I was already going to buy, and I've paid zero interest along the way. So that's all money that they've put in my pocket, and I highly recommend that you start doing the same. Now, there's a lot of offers out there from different credit cards, so obviously you want to do your best at searching around for the best card. I recommend trying to go to a website like creditcards.com. They will have a bunch of breakdowns of which cards are available right now based on your credit score and also based on what your goal is. So if cashback is your goal, like it is for me, you want to sort the cards by the cashback. That way you can see all of the cards that are available and the best deals that they give. And especially when you're starting out, you want to make sure you get a card that has no annual fee. You know, it might be worth it for some rich people out there to have an annual fee on their card, but unless you're really going to take advantage of all the benefits that you're going to get from those annual fees on that card, it's really not worth it to get a card that has an annual fee at all. If you're just going to use it like I do, to go to the store and buy everything that you're going to buy and then redeem that cash back, you want to have a card that has a 0 annual fee. Because I don't know if they'll give it to you as a new credit person or whatever. Otherwise, you're guaranteed to not get the card. And the other reason to keep that many credit cards is because the more credit you have available, then the higher credit the more credit you have available. And even though carrying a balance every month on your credit card, the only thing that carrying a balance on your credit card will do every month is assured. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop this video a like, and also let me know down in the comments below which are your favorite credit cards that you ended up using, which ones give you the best benefits, so that we can help everybody in the audience learn which are the best cards out there right now in 2019. Be sure to check out these 2 other videos right here, as you will probably find those helpful if you liked this video. And I will see you guys next time.